Computer's fault, as always, if anything happens. So I'm trying to set things up like on the fly, which is difficult because you've got those fly wings flapping on either side of you all the time, buzzing in your ears, not just when the fly is in your ear, because then it only bugs one ear or the other ear. But when you're on the fly, then the fly wings are buzzing on either side, so it's super hard to get things done on the fly. I feel like the fly, yeah, I could be on the fly while the fly touches down. If the fly would just touch down so that I can get my work done while on the fly, that would be nice, because then I could still be on the fly but without the flapping wings buzzing. And that would be a little bit easier on everyone, I feel like. So I'm going to try to open up the Excel thing here, and I'll change my audio. Let me see. That would be easier for everyone. Fly, would you just touch down a second so I can at least not have the buzzing wings while I get the stuff set up on the fly? Is that too much to ask? For crying out loud. Okay. So then let's see if this works like that. And then this one I'm going to open up, and it's going to take forever. It's got to think about it. It's going to think about it. I'll put this one up here. Boom. Alright. And I got pop-ups popping up, like probably indicating that some nefarious players have once again hacked in my computer in order to humiliate me in some ridiculous way, but that's okay. I'm going to keep it rolling. Okay, so let's see. I got my finger taped up this time. I found the Scotch tape. Scotch tape. It's better than Band-Aids. It's got good flexibility on. Try to pull this down a bit. Let me see if I can do a quick check on the tuner. And be nice to be in tune. It's a delicate operation, by the way, to apply the tape, because it's on my picking finger, and if you put this tape too far down, it makes your pick slip, But if you don't put it down far enough, it doesn't cover the spot that's hurting. So, you have to, you've got to know your stuff. That's what I'm saying. Alright, so this is going to be here. Let's pull this up a bit to right there. That's where that needs to be. See, it's a delicate thing here. I want to show you how delicate the operation is for the setup. Show you what I go through. What I go through every day to get things done around here. Let's see. This should be up a little higher. And this one, that seems about right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Alright, let's see what I got today. I'm going to keep on mulling over this key of C with the bluesy thing, going back and forth between ways of viewing the same thing. Why do you need to overanalyze it? Why do you need to overanalyze everything? Because that's what I do. That's what I do, okay? That's why. Uh, uh, anyway, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be here in this collection of notes, and then we're on this one, and then I'm gonna go into like I'm gonna analyze it from the C major collection, and then we'll analyze it from the C as the minor. So we'll analyze it over here with the C as like the minor. So maybe that node right there I think is the one we're on. And then we'll analyze it over here with the C as the Mixolydian. And we'll do the same thing, but from 3 different shape perspectives. And then we'll alter each of those perspectives to like kind of like the same thing, but it's not really the same because you're visualizing a different shape and other people kind of approach it differently. And notice like also like if I was playing in like any shape that I know best, I can kind of alter any one of them, right? Because one of the problems with the bluesy thing is like you're kind of like playing a parallel thing, but you're jumping between shapes. And if you want to get more detailed, like I could stay in the same collection of notes and then alter that collection of notes, or I can shift the collection of notes, right? So that in any music, it seems like that's like, you know, that realizing that kind of opens the door up, I think, to like experiment better. More better experimenting. All right, so that's what I feel like. That's why I practice it. I do the thing the one way I do it, and it works. And if it ain't broke, don't fix it. What's with all this like different ways of looking at it? Okay, I get that. I don't want to fix anything I don't want to break anything that's working. But I feel like while something's working, if it's working, it gives you time to look at other things too, because you're not like breaking it if you're just looking at other. That's why you get things working, so that it can just work, and then you go figure other stuff out while it's working. You don't need to break it while you look at other stuff. You know, if I was breaking it, then that would make sense. But I'm not breaking anything. So anyway, let's try a joke first. And let me see. I'm continuing on with the saga. I'm on part 4 of the saga of, and I know it's like you can't laugh at the saga, but it's like, dude, this is like tabloid magazine. I mean, this is the only way to approach it, is to kind of laugh at it, I feel like. I mean, otherwise you have to take it seriously, which would be a tragic mistake, right? You kind of have to, like, this is like this whole drama that I'm kind of watching on like the conservative kind of political side of things is like, this is like the tabloids right next to the grocery store checkout, you know? That's what you got. Aliens, you've got the magic family in the East, you've got resurrection of the gay dinosaurs, and I mean, this is like, it's got everything, man. So you have to like, I have to appreciate it. I have to appreciate the creativity. So I'm on part 4 now of it. So part 4 of the drama. I'll try to recap it as we go, but as always, if you really need like to be a concerned citizen, this is a parody, by the way. So again, I kind of feel like I have to point that out, because some people don't get, like, they don't get parody. They try to take you serious, you know. So it's like, okay, it was a parody thing, but okay. So like, okay, so look, if you haven't seen the prior episodes, you should go back there and look at it, because you need to be informed. You need to be informed, people. If you want to be a concerned citizen in this population, in this area, and try to help people out, you need to know what's happening. So go ahead and get that. It's a very affordable price. Sign up to the newsletter so you're aware, you're in the know with the people that know stuff. the Gnostics of the the political Gnostics. We know we've got the insider knowledge here. You need to know. You need to have the. So here we go. Part number 4, the podcaster payoff, the Eastern Sorcery Syndicate, and the dinosaur retaliation. So let me take a moment, a calm, holy, divinely appointed moment to address the backlash I've been getting. I've been receiving a little backlash, people, and I hate to draw attention to myself. You know that. I hate to draw attention to myself, but I feel called to express that's just the way. I mean, it's not my fault. I have to do it. So because apparently, while I'm over here risking my life to expose the mysterious Eastern sorcery dynasty that resurrected gay dinosaurs and built the gender scrambling space laser, some influential podcasters have decided to take shots at me. What kind of cheap stuff is that, you know? I'm over here doing the work, and then people are coming after me with trying to cast shade on me, man. And I'm not going to name names or anything because I'm not like that. I don't do that. I don't do that for clicks. I'm not naming names. But let's just say this guy looks like he streams from a bunker full of expired instant noodles and emotional support beanies. Just saying. Now, here's what my source is. The same elite truth ferreting prophecy level sources who cracked the dinosaur French marriage scandal wide open. Here's what they have uncovered on this one. These are crack journalists, okay? I can't tell you who they are because, sources, but crack journalists, as we've seen with my track record in the past, which is spotless. All right, so the podcasters aren't mad because I'm wrong. Of course not, because I'm never wrong. They're not mad because I'm wrong. They're mad because they want a cut of the profits from the evil Eastern family gender scrambling space laser empire. They're trying to get their bag. I can't blame them. But I'm above that. I don't do that kind of thing around here, and I have to call it out when it happens because that's what you do when you're a truth seeker, okay? So yes, they're trying to get their bag from the very same Eastern family that resurrected the French dinosaur brides under the crescent moon ritual, surrounded by glitter goat horns and protein sirens, and then had the dinosaur marry the French president, infiltrated the whole European. That's why Europe's all messed up. Okay, I don't even want to get into that right. We don't have time. I'm talking about the backlash right now. So it's a pretty transparent grab for the laser money. That's all I'm saying. It's pretty transparent. Okay. So and I hate to get personal. I really do. I hate getting personal. I hate causing drama, stirring the pot. But you got to do what you got to do. And these attacks feel like they're coming from, I hate to cast shade, but they feel like they're coming from a weak, gay dude who is one bounce check away from being evicted from his Wi-Fi hotspot. Somebody whose personality screams, "Oh, I own 3 microphones and 0 emotional stability." Somebody whose biggest accomplishment is yelling at guests for clicks while eating cold chicken tenders at 2 a.m. And honestly, that makes me nervous, because if there's one thing that the Eastern sorcery dynasty loves, it's hiring insecure podcasters to do their dirty work in exchange for influencer tiers of laser profit revenue. That's what they do. And you know what happens once the Eastern family gets involved? You know what happens? They send the gay dinosaurs. They send the gay, magically, black magic, resurrected, reincarnated gay dinosaurs after you, all right? And I mean, the glitter-powered, thunder-thigh, French accented, prehistoric assassins who already hate Dolly Parton for being a real woman, and therefore they're their natural enemy. So when these podcasters come after me, I'm not just worried about insults. I'm worried about a full-scale dino-sourced, sorcery-funded, rotational mission storming across my lawn, right? That's what I'm dealing with. And I'm just saying That's, I'm not trying to call out anyone's but I'm just saying, look, just picture it. A pack of resurrected T-Rexes with acrylic nails. Acrylic? Protein-injected muscles and glowing accents from the east charging towards me like a pride parade sponsored by Satan. That's what I'm dealing with over here. Not to be overly dramatic or anything. I don't want to be overly dramatic, but I'm just saying it is what it is. And all because some bargain bin commentator who wanted to join the Sorcery Dynasty affiliate program. But let me make one thing very clear, people. If their Eastern magic family, their gender scrambling space laser, their French dinosaur brides, and their broke podcasters interns think they can silence me, absolutely not. I will not be bullied. I will not be intimidated. And I will not be hunted by discount Jurassic fashion models doing the bidding of the podcaster who looks like he files his taxes in crayon, for crying out loud. So if they want me, they can send every single gay dinosaur they've got. I'll be waiting, man, in my panic room with Dolly Parton vinyls and a baseball bat dipped in holy glitter. Okay. That's my rant. Chat helped me out with that one a little bit, a little assistant. I've never heard the song before. This is my first impression on the song. I put the thing into Suno. Let's see what Suno does with it. I'll give you my first impressions. I'm not responsible for what Suno says. I've never heard it before, but it's got the song. And let's see what it's got.
Let me take a moment, a calm, holy, divinely appointed moment, just to talk about the backlash I've been getting. 'Cause while I'm over here risking my life, exposing the Eastern Sorcery Dynasty, the ones who resurrected gay dinosaurs and built the gender scrambling space laser, some influential podcasters decided today was the day to come at me. I'm not naming names, but he looks like he streams from a bunker full of expired noodles and emotional support beanies. And now my sources, oh yes, the same elite sources who cracked the dinosaur French Merrick scandal, uncovered what's really going on. These podcasters are mad 'cause I'm wrong. They're mad 'cause they wanna cut up the profits from the evil Eastern family space laser empire. Yeah, the very same sorcery dynasty. They're resurrected French dinosaur brides under a crescent moon ritual with glitter goat horns and protein syringes on fire. It's a clear, desperate grab for laser money, and the pettiness cuts like a knife, coming from a guy one bounce check away from losing his Wi-Fi and his entire live stream life. He's the kind of man whose personality screams, I own 3 microphones and 0 emotional stability, whose biggest accomplishment is yelling at guests for clicks while eating cold chicken tenders at 2 a.m. Honestly, yeah, that makes me nervous. 'Cause if there's one thing the Eastern Sorcery Dynasty absolutely loves, it's hiring insecure podcasters to do their dirty work in exchange for influence and tiers of laser profit revenue. And you know what happens when the Eastern family steps in. French dinosaur brides and their broke podcaster interns think they can silence me. Absolutely not. I will not be bullied. I will not be intimidated. I will not be hunted by discount Jurassic fashion models. Working for a podcaster who files his taxes in crayon. If they want me, they can send every single gay dinosaur they've got. I'll be waiting, standing strong, unshaken, undropped. Let the sorcery swell and the spacers glitter. I'm not running from creatures with couture nails and bad babysitters. I'll be waiting in my panic room with Dolly Parton vinyl spinning and a baseball bat dipped in holy glitter, ready for whatever wild magic the Eastern Dynasty brings next.
All right. I hate to cause controversy. You know, I hate to be in the middle of like drama, but I mean, and I don't like to cast shade on people, but I'd have to just, just oh God. Okay, so what am I? I'm on the note. I'm on the collection of notes around the key of C. Let's see. So collection notes around the key of C. So that means this would be position, what I would call position 1. From here, basically back here if I want to get technical about it. So here's the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. And then that's in major, C major. Position 2 would be up here, boom, boom, boom. And I'm starting on the Ionian node, which would be here. So I like to play it this way with my fingering's not perfect on it, but 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. All right, so I'm on this node right here, but I don't want to play it. I don't want to play it like a major scale because I'm thinking bluesy. So that how do I alter the major scale to make it bluesy? I'm gonna flatten the 7, and I'm gonna smear the 3rd, right? So if I'm on this node, how can I do that? So I'm gonna say, okay, that's gonna be 1, where's the 3? The 3 minus 1 is 2 modal half steps up from the 1. So 1, 2, 3, because it's in the scale degree, is the third modal point, which is the Lydian, which is the Phrygian, which is right there in the box. We're in the box. We're in the top of the box. This is what I call Ionian's house. Ionian lives at the front of the house, towards the sound hole. That's the ocean, because Ionian has all the Ionians living well, you know. And then Phrygian's in the basement. Phrygian's in the basement. Basement is the 3rd. So then we're going to say, okay, that's fine. So I have the 1 and the 3. Now, that 3, then, if I flatten it, would be here. So minor 3rd to major 3rd. Let's go, before I noodle with that, let's analyze that from the perspective of the minor. So I'm going to switch both of them. This second one is Aeolian, right? So on the top of the screen, now you have all the distances from the minor. Now I'm looking at the nodal point of the collection of notes 6. So what if C was the minor? So if C was the minor, here's the C. If it's minor, I can put my pointer up here to the major. So if C is minor, the relative major is up here on, what is that, a D sharp, right? Or the other way you can think about it is like, what if I want to figure out the D minor? Like, which collection of notes would that be, right? On the for the major, one way you could do it is say, well, let me look at that shape and see where my finger lies, and then locate that note. that would be in position number 1 from the top of the guitar. That's one of the easiest ways instrumentally to do that, right? Or you might say, well, if I want the C to be node number 6, how far is it to get back to the Ionian? It goes 6, 7, 1. It's 2 modal half steps to get to the Ionian, and 2 modal half steps from the 6 is a distance. 2 modal half steps is the 3rd scale degree. So the 2nd modal half step, which is the 3rd scale degree from the 6, is how many notes away. It's going to be 3 notes away. So 3 note away. So if I'm on note number 6, I would name the notes or number them. I call that note number 4 if you number the notes from A as 1. So 4 plus 3 is 7, right? So I think that's going to be node number 7. If I have that right, yeah, 7. If I number the notes, and 7 happens to be again a D sharp or E flat, right? If you want to think about it that way. But see, the numbers are kind of useful. It's kind of useful to number the thing. Anyway, so I'm going to say then if this is going to be nodal point 6, I'm not going to renumber it for the minor. I'm just going to count through the scale 6 to 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What am I now? Now I renumbered it. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6. See if I got that right. 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going from Aeolian to Aeolian. Now notice the problem when I'm trying to figure out like the distance and distances between the Aeolian and the Ionian. I have to. If I renumber it, the scale degrees are based on numbers. It should be modal distances, right? Because I should be able to go, what's the difference between going from the Aeolian 1 modal half step up? 1 modal half step up is the 2nd scale degree, and it's 2 notes up. If I go 2 modal half steps up from, which would be the 3rd scale degree, right? It's a 3 note distance from the Aeolian. But if I go 2 modal half steps up from the Ionian, it would land me over here on 4 notes up, right? Because it would, right? So if I'm on this as my node, and I go 3 modal half steps up, or let's just count it this way, right? Just so you can see it on one string. So if I went 3 modal half steps up, that would be the 4th scale degree, right? And let's compare that to like an Ionian over here. If I was on the Ionian and I went like 3 modal half steps up, it would be here. Both of those end up 5 notes away, right? 5 notes away. And then if I went 4 modal half steps up, 1, 2, 3, 4, then that would be the 5th scale degree, which is 7 notes away. That's the same distance here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes away. If I go 4 modal half steps up, if I go 5 modal half steps up, that would be the 6th scale degree, which is 8 notes away. Versus if I go 5 modal half steps from an Ionian, it's 9 notes away, right? If I go 6 modal half steps up, wait a sec, 6 modal half, which would be the 7th scale degree, it's 10 notes away. If I go 6 modal half steps up here, which would be the 7th scale degree, it's 11 notes away. And then, so that's the full distance, and then I go back home. So see how, like, it would be a lot more efficient. Like even I have scale degrees in my mind, so it's hard for me to think in terms of modal distances and convert it, because I keep on wanting to go back to scale degrees. But the scale degrees makes me renumber the node that I'm on. And the point is I'm on the same note point. I don't want to renumber the node. I'm trying to compare the distances from the same note as though they were distances from the perspective of an Aeolian to the distances that were from the perspective of the Ionian. And that becomes a problem when I keep on having to use scale degree or intervals which are based on scale degrees, right? Because you see the problem there? That's not the most efficient way to think about it. It should be distance. But no one, so I'm just want to point that out. No one cares. They think you're crazy if you say that, but I'm telling you, It don't make no frickin'. Okay, let it go. Let it go. I'm going to just move forward. I'm going to say, see, now, so here we have the third here. So now I have the third is a minor third, and I can push it up here. It's a minor third because it's 3 notes away. How can I count that? It's 5 notes between the strings, 4, 3. So I come out to the same third, but it's in a different shape. Right now I'm in shape number 1 versus here I'm in shape number 2, right? And then the third is the minor third is in the shape, and I'm going to smear it into a note that's outside the shape. Whereas here the minor third is outside the shape, and I smear it to the one that's inside the shape if I'm thinking bluesy, right? What about the mixolydian? So if I'm on the mixolydian, then now I'm looking at the same node, but I'm thinking of it as nodal point number 5. So if it's C mixolydian, then now it's like, okay, well, how do I figure that out? It's C mixolydian. What do I find? What would be the related major of a C mixolydian? Well, the C mixolydian is a couple notes up. I mean, one way I could do it is I could say, okay, if the C is the mixolydian is 5. How far is it from there to the Ionian? 5, 6, 7, 1. It's 3 modal half steps, which is the 4th scale degree. And when I go, the 4th scale degree is how many notes up? It's 5 notes up. So if I'm on C, which from a number standpoint would be note number 4, 4 plus 5 would be 9. So I would think I'm looking for a 9, which is an F, if you were to number the notes. Again, that's kind of useful to do. It seems obvious to me that it would be useful to number the notes. Nobody does that. I don't get it. But, like, I don't know. I'm an accountant, so I can't help it. I am going to number the notes. So I have so like you have an F. Now I feel like I got it wrong. Did I get it wrong? Nodal point number 1 here is going to be, no, that's right. The Ionian is right there. So it'd be the F. So if I put my finger, let's go up here to this F and then back to here, that would be position number 1 from the Ionian on the 10th fret. So we'd be on position 1 would be up here, and we're looking at this point back here, which is going to be, what are we grabbing? Nodal point on the 10th fret here. That's the one we want. So that means I'm in position 1 here, whereas over here, I was in position 1 that started on the 8th fret. I was at the front end of position 1. Over here, I'm on like the back end of position 1. So I can think of it as like the back end of position 1 or the front end of position 5. Whereas here, I'm in the front end of position 1 or the back end of position 2, if you want to think about it. That's where the root is. So see, it's a little confusing, right? But if I go from the mixolydian, where's the third? 5. The third is 3 modal, is the third minus 1, 2 modal half steps, 5, 6, 7. I'm looking for nodal point number 7. So there it is right there. And it's a 4 node away distance because it's going from a major node. So it'd be 5. So how can I count that? 5 between the strings and then 4 as I go back. Now again, I'd like to smear into that from the minor. So those are 3 ways to look at the same thing. Right here, I'm going to smear from outside the key into the key, from in the key to the outside the key, and from outside the key into the key. Right, whichever way you want to picture it. Okay, my mind is kind of a little scrambled now, but I can let's visualize it this way first, since my mind is kind of scrambled. So if I'm looking at it this way, which is the traditional way I know, I can go. I'm on the wrong note. I'm on the wrong note. All right. That kind of sounds cool, but that's the wrong note, idiot. It's over here. Let's add the 7. So if I add the 7, so again, if I'm in the Ionian now, the 7 could be 6 modal half steps up, or it could be just right behind the Ionian, which 1 minus 1 would be 0, plus 7 would be 7. So it would just be nodal point number 7. So I can grab the one out here. How far is that away from the Ionian? It would be 11 notes away, right? Because the Ionian has a major 7, a major 6 modal half step, 7th scale degree. So it would be 5 and then 10 as we cross the fault line here, and then 11. So that's what I want to do, is get a 10 note away distance. So I'm going to flat the 7 most of the time, right? I'm going to kind of I'm going to move it out. So I'm moving it from inside to outside to the flat 11. What if I looked at it from the perspective of the Aeolian? So now I'm on the Aeolian. So if this was the C minor now, it would be going this way. Once again, Aeolian would be going 6 to 6, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Aeolian's got that minor, so this would be position 1 right here that I'm in, the front side of position 1, or the front side of the Ionian G shaped position from a caged system. So there's the 3rd right there, but I'm gonna go push it up, and then the 7 is going to be 6. The 1 minus the 6 is 5, right? Or 6 plus 6 would be 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? 6 modal half steps up, which is the 7th scale degree. So that's going to be here, and right, so that's going to be here, and that should have a 10 note away distance. So it should be 5, 10, because the fault line is here as we shift up to get another 5 as this fault line shifted up. So that means that the 10 note away is inside of the key here. So you could smear between these two, but again, more likely you're going to hang on to the 10 note away distance. What if I was in the Mixolydian? which has a major third, but it has a minor 7. That's why the Mixolydian is more, I think, if you were going to pick a mode that sounds most bluesy and try to stay in the mode and not be smearing stuff, it would be the Mixolydian, you would think, right? Because it has, if I'm on the 5, -1 would give us the 6th modal half step away, which would be the 7th scale degree, which is this node, or 5 plus 6 modal half steps, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, nodal point number 4, 10 notes away, because it's a minor distance, even though it's a major nodal point. So that would be 5 and then 10 as we shift up here. So now, once again, the Mixolydian, even though it's a major nodal point, a major scale, if you want to call it that, it has a minor 7, which makes it the most bluesy if you were to play inside the key, right? But a lot of people don't play inside the key because they think in terms of major and minor, because that's classically what people did. So now you're saying, if I think that way, I'm in position 1 Ionian, and I'm going to smear the 3rd from minor to major, and I'm going to smear the major 11 back to a minor to get that minor feel. So that's probably the most common way to kind of look at it, although you might look at it from a pentatonic standpoint, which again, from that standpoint, you would be playing the minor pentatonic, right, up here on top of the chords, right, and then smearing the 3rd. So either one of those way are probably the most common kind of way to think about it, but I don't know. That's what I'm thinking. I'm not like a, I haven't really studied how other people think about it. That's how I would think about it. So that's what I'm telling you. I'll tell you how I think about it. So that's going to be here. Who are you to tell me what other people think? Okay, I won't tell you what other people. I'll just say what I think about it. So that's kind of like. So whenever I see this shape, normally, like the minor would be like right here, you know? If this shape was up higher, it would be here in the box, and then you always have the major 3rd here, and then the minor would be right there. But now, because of the fault line right here, we had to alter that shape and shift this one up to the gap right there. So now it's like. let this one go, if I reveal this, I get the nodal point 5, which is the 5th. So I get that solid shape, and then this one is a little bit tensiony, the one above it, because that's the 2. So if I let go of this, that's pretty solid sound. So I'm just going to try to get a little bit of a rhythm here, just to mess with the rhythm. Alright, so that's like the lean back shape. What if I was to reach forward from this shape? The third is back here. I have a reach forward third up here. So wait a sec, I'm on this node. This would be like a D shape. So it's kind of hard to reach that third down here. I mean, you could, yeah, well, yeah, it's not that hard. Let's do it. So it would be a D shape like that, right? That would be the forward shaped D shape, but oftentimes I kind of cheat and don't play this node, and I lean forward with a D shape like that, right? So now you've got this shape from here, from this node. So again, so you get the third, so it's 2 modal half steps up, so 1, 2, 3, nodal point number 3. That's going to be how many notes? So how many notes away is that? That's going to be 4 notes away. So it's going to be 5, 10, 15. 15 minus 12 to get it back in the local distance is 5 minus 2, which is 3, 4. Now if I want to smear that, I can put it in here, right? Because it's a flat to smear it up. And then where's the 5? It's going to be the 5th is going to be 4 modal half steps up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is going to be nodal point number 5, which should be 7 notes away, which is 5 notes between the string, 5, 6, 7. And then where's the 7? It's going to be right behind the 1. So it would be 1 minus would be 7. 1 minus 1 would be 7. So you would have the major 7, which is there. But again, you want the minor 7. So you want the one that's back here. So you can kind of switch between the third. So these two down here from this shape, these 2 bottom ones, you kind of want to smear, those 2 can smear forward, which is kind of like, how do you grab that to smear them forward? Like I could. usually do this D shape. I don't often play out, so I should practice more on this shape. So obviously I'm a little awkward here. Like, I'm not really concerned with this fifth right here isn't really the flavor. So maybe you hit the root bass note and then smear the bottom. But this one, actually this 7 wants to go back, not forward. So what you really want is this shape. Kind of want this 3rd to smear that way and the 7 to smear the other way, which is a difficult finger.
Thank